Oh, no. When you're doing flash photography, it's two simultaneous photographs being taken at the same time. One will be controlled by the flash and the aperture, but independent of shutter speed. I could be at 1/8,000th of a second, I could be at 1/60th of a second, it will still be perfect TTL. Or in the case of manual, you would have to adjust it, right? And then, but once I have that set up, then I can now change the shutter speed and then vary the bake. And that's how easy it is, and this is fun. So when you go home and you play with it, and again, you don't even have to buy the radio. You can go on my videos and then check out how to do the wireless on Canon, Nikon, Pentax, Olympus, Sony, and then find out how to do that, and then you can experiment with it. Okay. The only thing is, and you need to get the Snoot.
So when you say the bake, you're really referring to the amount of ambient light you're letting, right?
Right. Yeah. Because that's going to take longer shutter times.
Yeah.
That's why, think about leaving it in the oven until it's done. That's kind of what we're doing. This, I'll explain, is now wireless. I've got in the background, I've got an exit, kind of emergency fire exit thing, and I've got, it's not beautiful, right? This guy right here is a single off-camera flash, and it's sending one light to her only. Now, I've got this thing with a single button. I can do high-speed sync on this. Or on any camera, they all do high-speed sync, all the new cameras. So, I've got this thing at 1/8,000th of a second. At f1.6, what am I going to get? Beautiful fall-off, right? Because it's f1.6. This is a 50mm lens on a crop sensor, which becomes a 75mm lens. So I have a 75 1.4 shooting at 1.4, and you can imagine how pretty that's going to be, because everything in the background will be out of focus. But not even that the background's even going to show, because I'm going to have it now, when I talk about the bake, there's going to be no bake. ISO 100, 8,000th of a second. How am I possibly going to see anything? And you know how I can figure out what that's going to look like? And this is something beginners can do. Turn your slave off and take the first photo, and you'll see that there's nothing on there. That's your bake. So now, this light will be the only light that's on there. And what will this light be? TTL. Which is nice, because even though it's off camera, it's going to keep transmitting until the sensor has enough light, then it's going to shut off. So what I'm going to do here is on this one shot, I'll just go ahead and turn the light back on. I'm going to turn you actually a little bit more in that direction. So, yeah, just like that. And tip the top of your head toward me. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah. All right. So,
it's like a wedding photographer.
I know, hey?
So musical.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Okay, so those of you who are nearby enough to see this, I'll show you what that looks like.
Oh, yeah.
So, I've turned this into a really, really nice, low-key lighting, and I could be anywhere, and that's what's cool. Now, I'm going to turn this into a black and white photo by simply taking the go down the shooting menu here, and I'll take it and turn it into black and white. So we'll go to...
Question, Jerry?
Yes?
With the Snoot, how did you avoid getting bounced back off of the front of her face? Because it's so close. Normally you get hot spots if you're shooting straight into somebody.
Because the hot spots are only visible to that, not me. Yeah. It's like shooting an egg from an angle. It's hot on that side of the egg, but on this side we have the nice, kind of modeling. So that's kind of what's going on. Okay, let's turn this on to color balance. Okay, so we're going to do it in black and white. And then same thing. Let me just model it to see. Now, this is what I've got. I've got f1.8, and God, that's pretty. Okay, look at that.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So,
Let's see.
Wow.
the black and white's really neat.
See?
You were saying that you have it at 1/8,000th of a second
Yep.
speed.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get your flash?
It's on Nikon. It's called Auto FP. It's high-speed sync, and that's a very good question actually, because it's a setting, and my YouTube will show how to do it, where you turn this into what's called high-speed sync. Now, high-speed sync is completely different than the sync of the shutter. Sync of the shutter will go up to maybe 1/250th of a second, no faster than that.
Right.
But on high-speed sync, this is what happens. On a shutter, what happens is the flash will go, poof, and then the shutter comes down. Okay, so it's right here at the top, and then it hits it. Rear curtain sync, means that the first shutter went up and then it sinks when the bottom goes up on it, right? So when I have it on high-speed sync, what happens is the entire time that the shutter is open, the light's transmitting. And that takes more batteries, and that takes a lot more, you'll lose a lot of distance if you're doing that, because it's extremely high power for the flash. That's why I need a Snoot. So if I didn't have the Snoot, I couldn't direct the power. All of these things, the 900 is different, but most of the flashes can only do 28 to 105 when you zoom. If you put a 14 on it, you'll have a nice, beautiful hotspot in the center, or an 21, you'll have a hotspot in the center. If you shoot a 300, you've just now lit up a whole bunch of the frame that you don't need a light, okay? So what this is equivalent to a 300. So, and that's what I like about it, because when we're outdoors, I'm literally going to get this vignette fall off at the waist or below. It'll literally go into darkness. It's real pretty that way. So, but the high-speed sync really is only possible with a Snoot. And the Snoot is here because I don't want any light to hit the wall. If I hit the wall now, I don't have that beautiful black background anymore, right? So I need you. Come on over. You can jump out for a second. I'm going to do like a really cool kind of executive photo. Just sit like a Abe Lincoln in the memorial. No, glasses are on. Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is don't change anything, but just slightly turn that. Not a lot. And this is what's kind of fun, is I'm going to just take the modeling light and do that, right? And I'm going to make it look like it's coming from heaven. There you go. Okay, now on this one, look a little bit more serious. Okay, good. And then I'd like you to turn straight toward me so we get kind of a, just like that. We're going to get kind of a half face shot. Now, I want you guys to see this because it's so...
Still black and white?
Yeah, it's black and white, and it's really cool. I'll let you see it first. Hang on just a second.
I don't understand the laughing. Okay.
Isn't that crazy? So, it's really fun for, like, distinguished, anything like that. So, if you're doing executive portraiture and you want it to look really dramatic, you can do that. And this is the fun part. I could do this outside on a sunny day. It'll still look like that. Because I've got, and you test this by turning the flash off. Crank it up with the luxury of being 1/8,000th of a second. Crank it up until you have no more background. Like it might be f5.6, but this, no sweat. This will hit f5.6 outdoors at ISO 100 at 8,000th of a second. It will turn noonday sun into black night. And that's the fun part. If you're shooting a wedding, and you go, you know what, let's let some of the light come in. And then now it looks like you're in the middle of a kind of midnight, the dusk, kind of dark blue sky. So much fun. All you need to do is wheel the shutter speed and go and change the amount of your bake. And then you can completely change the look of the photo. Okay, jump on out and let's get the girl, the professional in here. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and you can just kind of spread. Yeah, just like that. And remember your shoulders go that way and your face goes that way. Yeah, just like that. And so that you're in the light. Let me just do one real cool black and white shot. God, I love this. This is freaking cool. Isn't that trippy?
Cool.
So, now, that's the fun that we can have with one strobe off camera. And I can do...
You didn't show us.
Oh,
Show everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.